Hello and welcome to Box Office Chat, the weekly show from Movie Burner Entertainment where we discuss the top 10 films within the United Kingdom's box office. This is for the weekend, September 28th to 30th, and joining me as always is Stephen. What have we got at number 1 this week, Stephen?
Number 1 this week is a new number 1, John. It's Night School, and it's grossing 1.5 million over the weekend. This is the film, of course, by Malcolm D. Lee, who directs this movie, and it stars Tiffany Haddish, Kevin Hart and Taron Killam.
Yes, it's a new Kevin Hart comedy film. We've also seen him in a number of comedy films over his career already. I think the last one I recall, I'm sure he's been in others, but the last one I recall was Central Intelligence with him and Dwayne Johnson. It was kind of an action comedy mismatch of a film, kind of a mismatched buddy film, and I quite enjoyed it. This one, it's not getting great ratings though, I have to say, and it's putting me off just a little bit. 29% from critics, 36% from top critics, 48% of the users are liking it. Just 982 reviews though. But total worldwide grossing so far, Stephen, $58.7 million off of a $29 million production budget. It's only been out a week or so that's not too bad. I'm sure it'll eke out, I wouldn't say a profit, it'll probably break even when you take into account the shares and the cuts that have to go to theatres, and then obviously promotional costs. I've not seen a single trailer for this though, so they're not pushing it over here. Didn't know it existed until just now.
Yeah, I mean, just reading the synopsis, John, it does sound a little bit Breakfast Club-ish. Yeah. A group of troublemakers are forced to attend night school and hope that they'll pass their GED or JED exam to finish high school. Now, I do know that I think this is the first commercial film that Kevin Hart has written, and it's one of those movies, John, that it's getting 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. It's not exactly great, is it? But not terrible either. But it's one of those movies I'll probably get around to seeing at some point. I certainly, I don't think I'll be going to cinema to see this, to be honest with you. It's going to be one of those ones that I'll probably catch on Sky Movies when it eventually does appear on Sky Movies. But nevertheless, Kevin Hart's in it. He's a very funny man. Yes. I like a lot of his stand-up. So we're one of those ones that I will get around to seeing eventually.
Yeah, actually I forgot Kevin Hart was in The Secret Life of Pets. He played, I think it was a dog in it. Yeah, it was quite funny in it, so that was after Central Intelligence. So I'm talking crap. Very funny film. For what it was an animated children's film, and I found it very funny, and I actually enjoyed the film in general. So if this is even a fraction as funny as that, then it may be okay. It's not going to go over well with everybody. Not everybody likes comedy films like this. There was some other film I recall about a teacher getting into a fight with another teacher. I think Ice Cube was in it. Can't remember what the hell it was called. It was from last year. That was terrible. So if it's like that, and in the spectrum of good to bad and a likelihood of what it's going to mimic in terms of films, I think it's closer to that film I was talking about there, the fight one, than it is to Secret Life of Pets. But I digress. Ain't seen it, Stephen. Synopsis sounds a bit shit, and we are going to move on to the next film, which is The House with a Clock, and it's Walsh. It's on its second week now. Grossed £1.5 million at the weekend from 552 theatres, and its total gross is now sitting at £5.5 million. I enjoyed this film, Stephen.
Was this movie we were talking about last week? We were talking about the rating being a PG.
Yes.
Over here, it's actually a 12A, which is strange.
Strange it's doing so well then, because it's clearly directed at children, I would have thought. So the fact that they gave it a 12A, so does that you can go younger but with an adult? I don't know what that means.
Well, I think it's really just down to the adult's discretion, John. I think that's why the A is thrown in there. You can get 12 films, but I think ones that are 12A, it's basically saying, view with caution, basically, if the kids perhaps maybe 10, 9, But this was one of the things we did talk about last week in regards to, there was a lot of feedback online in regards to parents taking younger kids. Yeah. A little bit frightened with some of the things that were going on, some of the themes and some of the tones. I totally get that. But nevertheless, that's good. That's good figures for its second week, and I think Eli Roth will be very happy with that.
It's very good figures, as you did say, Stephen, considering it is a 12A, not a PG, so it's not open to as wide a demographic as over in the United States. But clearly, people who are taking their children to see this and walking out with children screaming have not done their research, because Eli Roth is a man who's very much came from horror in terms of directing anyway.
This is very tame compared to...
It's very tame compared to the likes of the Hostel, yeah. There's some darker moments at the end of the film, but I enjoyed it. But I'm an adult. I'm 29. I ain't going to get scared at mannequins or jack-o'-lanterns or clocks trying to murder people, or a dead guy with terrible CG at the end of the film trying to murder people.
I think Jack Black as well is getting a lot of good feedback for his performance in the movie, John.
Very good.
You have seen the movie, I've not seen it yet.
Him and Blanchett, Stephen, the chemistry was fantastic between those two, and even the young guy, I think it's Owen Vaccaro, very good. Good trio of performances. Antagonist was crap, I did say that. He was underwhelming, didn't get a great deal of screen time. CG was horrendous at the end. But the visuals in the main, the set design, the costume design, the magical feel, the tone, I liked the music. Overall, I enjoyed it. And it's a nice little side venture out of the horror genre for Eli Roth. I hope he continues to do it. Yeah.
Coming in at number 3, John, is A Simple Favour. It's grossed another £1 million over the weekend, totalling 3.4. This was number 2 last week, as I recall. It's in its second week, so it's moved down one place in the top 10. This is a movie directed by Paul Feig and stars Anna Kendrick, Blake Lively and Henry Golding. This is about a single mother called Stephanie has a parenting vlog who befriends Emily, a secretive upper class woman who has a child at the same elementary school. When Emily goes missing, Stephanie takes it upon herself to investigate. This is a comedy crime drama, John. Is it one that you're going to possibly go and see in the cinema?
No, it's not.
No,
because I only had room to go and see one comedy film, Stephen, this week, and I went to see Crazy Rich Asians. I didn't go and see this. I ain't going to go and see it either, because the synopsis doesn't draw me in. Although the ratings are very decent, I have to say.
7.2 on IMDb.
85%, 80% on Rotten Tomatoes, 79% audience score. And listen, it's doing well overall. $76.4 million. Don't know what the budget is. Probably it's not made a profit. I don't think it's going to either. I don't care. I'm not going to go and see it. But Blake Lively and Anna Kendrick appear to be the main players in it, and they're decent actresses, so... But I ain't going to go and see it. I don't know why I'm saying that as if that's something that's going to draw me in. It ain't. Henry Golding's in there. This is another guy who was in Crazy Rich Asians, funnily enough. But I digress. I'm giving it on.
Yeah, Paul Feig, director, John, he's done a lot of good TV work. He did a few good episodes of The Office. Yes. He also did some Parks and Recreation, Arrested Development, some great TV series there. I don't really know a lot about his film work other than he did that film Spy from 2015. Yeah. Certainly one I think you would be very interested in, John. The film Spy. This is the one starring Melissa McCarthy and Rose Byrne.
Right up my street. Yeah, I love Melissa McCarthy, as you do know, Stephen. Yeah, big fan of her. Love her face.
But I think Feig I think he should be pretty pleased with the way his film's performing, John. Certainly reading the synopsis, and it's a good cast as well. I can see why it's we came in at number 2 last week. It's number 3. It's not dropped dramatically down the pecking order, but we'll move on to number 4 this week. And this is a movie you just mentioned, John. Yes. It's Crazy Rich Asians, grossing 731,000 over the weekend, a total of 4.8 million in 3 weeks. Very impressive.
It is very impressive, and now I know why it's doing well, Stephen. $225.9 million worldwide off of a $30 million budget.
Amazing.
It is amazing.
Yeah.
And you look at the ratings on Rotten Tomatoes. I've spoken about this for about 3 weeks now, I think. 95% from top critics, 92% from all critics, 80% from the viewers. I'd get on board with those ratings. I'd probably give it a 4 out of 5. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Very funny film in spots. It's a rom-com. I'm not a big fan of romantic films because that's not the way I'm wired. I like to see violence and gore. I'm into horrors. I like westerns. I like sci-fi. But this was actually quite decent. The romantic elements were handled well. The characters were likeable in the main. I liked the main character of Rachel Shue, played by Constance Wu. She was very good, likeable young lady. Played, I believe, a lecturer, an economics lecturer, who got in town with this young chap, Nick Young, played by Henry Golding, incidentally. He's harbouring a secret. He takes her back home to Singapore to meet his family, and then then slowly gets revealed that he's one of the richest people on the whole island. His family are from a long line of super rich property developers that came down from mainland China hundreds of years prior, or 100 years prior. And she just slowly gets intermixed with the whole family. They're wacky, they're crazy. The mother doesn't like her though. She wants him to go out with a more traditional Chinese figure, a proper Chinese, not an American Chinese. She's looking down her nose at her. And we get to see that conflict, her trying to get on her side, try to prove she's not a gold digger. And it follows some of the classic tropes of a romantic film. You know exactly what's going to happen at the end, and it does happen. He hunts her down on a plane, proposes to her. But in between, it's full of some funny moments, I have to say. The main funny figures in it, I would probably say, Ken Jeong. He's been in Hangover. He played Wai Mun Go, who was Ama's father. He was very funny. And the other one would probably be Nico Santos, Olivia Tijian. He was like one of the uncles or the cousins, or I don't know what the hell he was, but he was one of the family, relatives of the Young family. And he was like a fashion designer. Very funny guy. There was a lot of funny figures in it. I enjoyed the humour. I thought they blended the humour very well with the romantic elements of the film. Visually it was amazing. Some of the sets were incredible. Showed you the exuberant lifestyle these people were living. There's a wedding at one point where his brother, I believe, is getting married, and it's a big exuberant wedding. You've got rivers flowing, and yeah, all in all, I liked it. We spoke about this, Stephen. We says it was a musical element to it, and now that I've seen it, I can see where the musical element is. It's blending in lots of music in various points, and it really does add to the emotion in the scenes and some of the humour in the scenes. You get them going off onto stag nights and stuff like that, and just a whole host of craziness. You get to see the arsoness of some of our family members, some of the sycophants that surround themselves. But it ends well, as all rom-coms do. You're not going to get a rom-com where the love of your life dies horrendously at the end, try to meet up with her and propose to her. It doesn't get decapitated or something, you know. It ends the way you'd expect it to end. But I thought it was very well written. An amazing cast of, I think they were all Asian, I'm pretty sure I read that. And they all performed very well. Even the side players all brought something to the story. And they well acted in the main, great humour, great visuals, great music. And good romance as well, believable romance with very nice and likeable characters in the main. Although not the mother, she was a bitch.
Yeah, we had to wait, I think, about 4 weeks.
Yeah.
This film came out, I think, mid-August in the US, John. We had to wait another month before we got to see this in the cinemas. So we knew it was getting a lot of good feedback, from the US online, even before we, could cast our eyes on this movie. The director, John M. Chu, as well. He's such a young director. He's only 38, I think. Yeah. And he's done so much in his short directorial career. I know him mostly from the Now You See Me films, certainly the second one. I think he's on board to do the third one as well. Yeah. And he's a very good director, as I said. He's done a lot of music videos as well, in particular Justin Bieber documentaries and music videos. So I'm sure you'll know all about that, John.
Yeah, I just love Justin. I think he's a smashing young guy, such a humble guy, so gracious. Just these little comments about Prince William needing to go on Rogaine or propane or something. What the hell, I don't know what the hell it is. A drug for hair loss. Cheeky little bitch that he is. But listen, I don't know anything about the director, I can't lie. I did see the Now You See Me films, didn't even realise it was him that directed them. I didn't pay much attention on that level.
He did the second one, John. I know he didn't do the first one. And he is on board for the third one. Well,
the second one was okay as well, I have to say. Yeah. They're quite good, those films, quite slick. And you can see elements in that here as well. There is some slick moments, certainly when they're partying, they're on helicopters and stuff like that, going out to a big oil tanker for a party. You get one of the family members, I think she's a player, he's shooting flares from a bazooka. So there's some moments in there. But listen, Henry Golding, I spoke about Henry Golding, says I recognised him from Jimmy Fallon or something. He's very good in it, actually. He plays the leading man, obviously, Nick Young, one of the two players, the main romantic bit in the film. Thought he was very good, and Constance Wu as well was very good. But as I did say, I'm repeat myself, number of good performances in there.
Yeah, Michelle Yeoh is in there as well. I don't know if you mentioned her. Yeah, she's a very good actress. I remember her back in the day of Couch and Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Yeah. She was an absolute standout in that film. But we're just going to move on, John, to number 5 this week. This is a film that you reviewed a few weeks ago now.
Yes.
It's part of the Conjuring universe. It's, of course, The Nun. It's grossed another 659,000 over the weekend, grossing 10.5 million over 4 weeks. 10.5 million over 4 weeks for a film of this genre is actually quite decent. I've not seen the movie yet. I don't think I'm going to go out my road to see this. This is another one that I'll probably catch on Netflix at some point, John. But as I said, you did a review of this a few weeks ago, John. It didn't sway me in any way, I'm afraid, but I'll let you in anyway with your thoughts on this movie.
Yeah. I'll just repeat myself again, Stephen. Very poor horror film for me, very disappointing. I was looking forward to it from the trailers and the shots of this eerie looking figure, the nun, that's been getting built slowly over the past 2 Conjuring films. She's a side figure that's been haunting Vera Farmiga's character throughout those 2 films. So here we're seeing this character finally getting fleshed out, and I was like, I think to myself, great, can't wait to see it. The trailers looked very promising, but sadly it's one of those things where they give you all the best bits of the character they've been in the trailer, sneaking up behind the young nun, Sister Irene, incidentally played by Taser Farmiga. I think it's a sister of Vera. And you get all the best bits in the trailer. The scares were terrible for me. It didn't scare me at all. It's quite sad actually when the Mother Superior cracking her neck. Also she's dead and she's been possessed by a spirit. It's sad when that's the main scare for me in the film. Utilised sound a lot to try and get jump scares. Cheap parlour tricks, as I said before. Story was all over the place. It was supposed to be, I think, a backstory about the nun in this convent that this demonic spirit had been conjured up from by some, I think it was a duke or something they say in the film. It's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm starting to banish it from my mind already. I'm pretty sure it was a duke though, was the name of the character who had brought this spirit to the place. But all in all, Stephen, very disappointing for Corin Hardy. I'm disappointed in Corin Hardy, it's not disappointing for him. The film's doing very well. It's grossed $346.6 million worldwide off of a $22 million budget, so Corin's laughing all the way to the bank. So are the studio.
Yeah.
And so are the guys that have set it up for a sequel, because they left it open-ended at the end with the young guy Frenchie and Sister Irene. They were going off at the end. They set it up with a sort of a sequence showing you that these demonic possessions usually have an upside down cross on the back. It's a marking. And of course old Frenchie's got it in the back of his neck, so it leaves it open-ended. We're going to get a sequel. I only hope that Corin bucks his ideas up and we get a better cinematic experience, artistic side to the film, because if they're basing it purely off of box office, then they're going to be disappointed, because it ain't going to do as well as this one has if they continue along those veins.
I think that including it in this Conjuring universe, John, has kind of hampered it in some fashion in this the sense of its tone or you know, the way the plot goes. You know, because I sometimes think if they're setting up a sequel before they even put pen to paper, it's probably the worst thing you can do with a film, especially a film with a specific genre like a horror movie, you know.
Yeah. I think that's probably the only redeeming part of this whole film, Stephen, the fact that it is connected to The Conjuring. Both of them are vastly superior films. So the fact they've connected this to those is what's probably get people into the cinemas and watching it. Once they've come in and seen it, they'll probably realise if they've got a brain that it's a pile of shit. But clearly some people are going back and watching it repeatedly because it's grossed over $300 million. So people are going to see it somewhere.
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
Look at the breakdown. It's mostly foreign markets, 67.3% of that total grossing, $233.3 million is from the foreign markets. I'd love to see how that breaks down from country to country, but still earned over $100 million in the United States, which isn't amazing, but people are going to see it, so hats off to them. They've got a profit, they'll move on, hopefully the next one's better.
Well, maybe
we see more of the characters, Stephen, the nun.
Maybe a lot of nuns go and see it, John. But we're going to move on to number 6 this week in the box office. It's King of Thieves, grossing 600,000 over the weekend. Overall, just under £5 million, which is quite decent for this type of movie in its third week.
I've not got much more to add to this one either, Stephen. I've not went to see it yet. I says I would. I haven't, because I've had other films to go and watch. But listen, it's an intriguing story. It's also about a major heist in London's jewellery district. Actually happened a few years ago. There's been a lot of backlash saying that this is glorifying the crime. I don't give a shit about that. If it's a good film and it deserves to be adapted, the story, then it will be adapted. We've seen some far more heinous events being adapted to story, much like the bombing in Norway, I believe.
Yeah,
it's been adapted to a film. I think it's a Netflix film. It's getting quite a sizable release in cinemas. Can't recall who does it. The main name escapes me at the moment. That's more heinous than this. We've seen films based on September 11, so I don't give a damn about these cretins saying that you shouldn't be putting these films out. It's glorifying the crime. It isn't glorifying the crime. It's an interesting story. It deserved to be adapted. Ratings wise, it's okay, 6 out of 10. It's nothing mind-blowing. I can't actually check Rotten Tomatoes because it ain't on it, because clearly it's not got a release over in the United States or a widespread release out with the United Kingdom. It's a very British-centric film though.
Yeah, John, you look at the cast, exactly. Charlie Cox, Michael Caine, Michael Gambon, Jim Broadbent, Ray Winston, Tom Courtenay, Paul Whitehouse is in there as well. Yes. I thought his character in The Death of Stalin was amazing, but he's coming from that kind of sitcom background and adapting himself to these type of films. But you're right, John, if it's not, it is a predominantly, if not 100% British cast. and it's not got a US release, then we're not going to see it in Rotten Tomatoes anyway.
No.
But it's getting good feedback. It's one of those films. I don't have a problem with films adapting real life events, regardless of what it is.
Yeah.
A lot of people think certain films are made too soon. You're right about the whole 9/11 films. They came out, I think, within the first 5 years of those terrible events.
Yeah, there was was it Meryl Streep? No, Sigourney Weaver. There was a Sigourney Weaver film. It's a TV movie. I actually watched it because we were doing a profile on Sigourney. So I subjected myself to it. I say subjected, it was actually not a bad film, very dialogue heavy. It was a firefighter trying to get over the trauma of the events. He lost a lot of colleagues and friends. So listen, if you can do a film based on a terrorist attack or just an attack, some people think it's an insider's job. I'm one of them, where thousands of people have died. Then a jewellery heist is small fry in comparison. But listen, fair play to them. Nearly £5 million already. I don't know what the budget was because I can't even see that on IMDb. There's not a lot of information about this film clearly.
Yeah.
But it can't have been a big budget. It's probably a small budget. Although Michael Caine, I'm sure, commands a very decent paycheck. So, and there's a whole host of other guys in there that will demand good money. So they have to be paid. I hope they're making their money because it's an interesting story.
Listen, it'll be a sad day when film studios stop making films based on real events. But we're going to move on to number 7 this week, John. It is a film called, simply, The Wife. This film grossed just under £400,000 over the weekend. And this film is directed by Bjorn Runge and stars Christian Slater, Glenn Close, Elizabeth McGovern, and a whole host of other names that I'm not too familiar with, John. And this film is about a wife who questions her life choices as she travels to Stockholm with her husband, where he is slated to receive the Nobel Prize for Literature. I kind of had an idea this was going to have Sweden in there somewhere with just that director's name, John.
Yeah.
And one of the writers is Jane Anderson as well, so it's not a film I'm familiar with. It's getting 7.5 out of 10 on IMDb, so it's getting a lot of good feedback. And you've got the likes of Glenn Close in there, who is an absolute legend of the silver screen. Christian Slater, great actor as well, and Elizabeth McGovern, fantastic actor. So it's got a good cast. The story as well, it's not really groundbreaking or anything like that, but certainly when you've got those actors in there, it's going to be a well-written film. It's going to be a well-performed film from the actor's point of view.
Yeah, I forgot Christian Slater even existed, Stephen. It's been that long since I've seen him in a film. I think he's just dropped off the face of the earth. Starring in the likes of Nymphomaniac Volume 1 and 2. Sounds a little bit ominous, a little bit strange. King Cobra, Dawn of the Croods, Justice League action shorts. Rick and Morty's good, but ain't great for him, man. Looking at the career over the last 5 years, let's hope this is a step up. Getting to star alongside Glenn Close, who looks interesting to say the least in that cover. Clearly she has had a lot of airbrushing going on in that cover. I ain't slagging Glenn Close, an absolute legend as you did say, but intriguing cover. Story itself, I mean the synopsis, a wife questions her life choices as she travels to Stockholm with her husband. It sounds as beige really as you could probably get.
What I take from that, John, is that the wife is living in the shadow of her husband. I think that's what it's really. I could be wrong, but just taking it from that synopsis, that's what it looks like to me.
It would be fair, Stephen, when he's slated to receive a Nobel Prize for Literature. Yeah, you're going to live in that guy's shadow. There's not many people get them. I think Bobby Dylan got offered one and he refused it. I'm sure he refused it. A lot of people weren't happy about Bob Dylan getting a Nobel Prize for Literature. Don't know why. The guy's one of the greatest songwriters of all time, if not the greatest. Can't please everyone though. Certainly can't please everyone when it comes to films. I'm one of them. I don't think I'm going to go and see this. I went to see a similar sort of a film. It wasn't similar in terms of the actual story, but in terms of the themes it explored, just an unhappy relationship, try to work out the problems in the Children Act. We spoke about that last week on the Movie Burner blog. It was a similar thing. I get the feeling this is going to be a introspective sort of a dialogue heavy thing, looking at just the relationships and the dynamics of it. And it was a similar kind of a concept. You've got a couple of good actors, a couple of lesser known actors and actresses, and I'm sure it's a decent film. It's just not for me.
Yeah, and just moving on this week, John, to number 8 this week. It's The Predator, grossing £334,000 over the weekend, grossing overall £4.5 million over 3 weeks. I I think we've talked the hind legs off this Predator.
We have.
It's one of those movies that I'm going to get around to seeing at some point. It's just been a hit and miss. Well, it's more of a miss.
Yeah, it's a complete miss.
The movies since that 1987 original, they just haven't lived up to that standard. A lot of people say that's because Arnie was in it. He was at the peak of his his movie career at that point, around about the late 80s, early 90s. And I don't know if it's just down to casting. I think the novelty factor as well with the Predator, the original movie I'm talking about, that camouflage effect, I thought that was quite fun at first, but you're seeing so many films that are very much like this these days that they all just seem to be a run-of-the-mill type of action science fiction type movie, and this falls under that bracket, I'm afraid.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is just down to casting as well. So, well, first and foremost, we can't talk about this film and not again mention the massive elephant in the room. It's staring at me just now. It's about 50 tonne. It's got a massive big trunk, and it is the casting of the American Gary Glitter, aka Shane Black's sexual predator friend. He brought him in. Just the whole controversy surrounding that has just murdered this film. There's no way about it. You can't get by it. Critically, it's murdered it. And in terms of box office performance, it's murdered it as well. It's only grossed $123.3 million worldwide off of an $88 million production budget. We did get a few trailers over here, so I'm presuming they pushed it. The promotion cuts to cinemas. This ain't making a profit, and not a chance. I says that. I predicted that a couple of weeks ago, and I thought I'd have to eat my words. I'd have to eat a big dose of humble pie, but I've not. I was right. It ain't making a profit, no chance. And it's partly that is probably down to the likes of Boyd Holbrook being cast as the leading man. I'd never even heard of this guy, can't lie. No. He's not got the charisma, he's not got the physique or the draw of an Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is a shame, because I actually thought the film wasn't that bad. It was just a run-of-the-mill, semi-decent action film with some great visual moments, some not so great visual moments, certainly towards the end when they get the big Predator. And my favourite scene was, I keep mentioning it, the scene in the lab when the Predator wakes up and just wrecks the whole joint, murders about 10 people. The Loonies, as they're called, the little group that Boyd meets up with, aka Quinn McKenna meets up with, sorry. Boyd ain't the character's name. He meets up with the Loonies. They were okay. Alfie Allen, obviously brother of Lily Allen, and I forget his dad's name. But
Keith Allen,
Keith Allen, very good dude. He gets lost in amongst the group. He just fades away into nothing, does nothing much, which is a shame because he's very good in Game of Thrones. Sterling K. Brown, underused, tragically underused. He looked like a very promising character as Triger. Keegan-Michael Kay brought a lot of laughs. Jacob Tremblay was okay as a young boy, arguably the standout, I says. And also you've got Olivia Munn in there as well.
Thomas Jane as well.
Yeah. So it was an okay cast across the board, but there wasn't one standout guy that's going to get you into a cinema to watch this. I went to see it purely based on the concept of the Predator. Sadly, the story was run of the mill as well, Stephen. There was rumours, we spoke about it prior to its release, of potentially a Predator going rogue and working alongside the humans against other Predators. Didn't really work out that way. I would have preferred to have seen that in hindsight, but they didn't do it.
That would have been interesting, John. You're right. The other thing as well is that I don't know if Shane Black's deliberately moved away from it being a focal point of an action hero, the one character. I've not seen the movie yet, so I can't comment on that. The problem with that is, though, I don't think the likes of... You've not really got this generation's Arnie. No. People may compare Dwayne Johnson or Jason Statham in those roles. I don't think either of they two would have saved this movie either. Dwayne Johnson, I think, consciously steers clear of try to replicate Arnold Schwarzenegger, because he does a great impression of him. I don't know if you've ever heard it. It's amazing. No. But I think he's doing the right thing. He wants to... I'm saying he wants to make a name in his own right. He's already done that. He's done that years ago, 2 decades ago, when he was doing the WE. But I don't even think that cast... It's a decent cast. I just don't think there's anyone in that cast that really stands out to really carry the movie, John. It seems to be quite a beige cast, and I don't mean that in disrespectful way. There's some great talent in there. Jake Busey, for one. But as I said, it's not going to be one of those films I'm really going to rush out to see. When the trailers did hit, I was kind of interested, but it kind of fizzled out with me. I'm interested in it very early on. But we'll move on, John, to number 9 this week. It's Disney's Christopher Robin. In its 7th week, it's grossed another £300,000 over the weekend. totaling 14.2 million overall.
Yeah, this is just, I say it every week, but this is just incredibly disappointing in terms of box office performance. Just $172.7 million. Don't know what the budget is. I think it says it was about $35 million. So it may have just about eked a profit. They didn't really push this film, Stephen, at all in terms of promotion. So they've not got a huge amount of cost in terms of that coming off the box office. But certainly the theatres will get their cut. But I think it may have just about broke even in terms of total grossing off of a fairly small budget. But I did see an Empire review giving this 2 out of 5. Which I disagree with. I thought it was actually a very decent film.
That's ridiculous, isn't it? But I think, John, the name Christopher Robin, carrying it with that title, so close to the one that came out, last year. I think it was the year before. I can't remember the one with Domhnall Gleeson, which was a good film as well. I think if Disney had released a Winnie the Pooh movie, I think the name itself would have probably sold more tickets. I might be wrong in that case, but I don't think Disney are that bothered. They'll knock out films like this every now and again anyway. You could say this is Disney's version of Ant-Man and the Wasp. It was just one of those films. It's not a bad film. I don't mean that in any sense in what I'm saying, but it's just one of those movies.
$66 billion over the years. They don't care, and they've got Mary Poppins Return coming out. What the hell, man?
I know. So I enjoyed the film. My daughter enjoyed the film. I know you enjoyed the film, John. So
I enjoyed Ewan McGregor's performance. I enjoyed the animation. I thought it was very cool. It was an introspective little story. It wasn't a big grandiose story. Just focusing on this guy having struggles in his middle-aged life, forgetting what was most important to him, getting caught up in work, and then finding himself again, finding these old faithful friends, and then bringing them back, and he realises what's most important, his family, gets himself back on track. But listen, it's what it is. It's earned a decent enough amount of money without blowing anybody away. And we are going to move on though to the next film, the last film, this week's box office chart. And it's Mile 22, cost £287,200 odd for this weekend, over 359 theatres, taking its total gross after 2 weeks to £1.4 million. This is of course the new Mark Wahlberg, Peter Berg collaborative film. They've done many a film, Stephen. This is probably the worst one to date. I seen Mark on, I believe it was Stephen Colbert, and he was talking about his daily routine in the lead up to this film, and I don't know if it is this film or the next film he's working on. He gets out of his bed at 2 in the morning or half 2 in the morning to work out, go for a round of golf, and he's got everything done before his wife and his children are even up. So I find that more interesting in this actual film, Stephen. This guy gets out his bed before I even go to my bed some nights. What the hell, man? I'm doing it wrong. I am doing it wrong. But this film, just again, we keep using the word beige this week, Stephen. It just sounds like a very beige action film. I believe it's about I don't know what it's about.
They're trying to smuggle. I think his role is he's one of his intelligence officers, John. And I think he's trying to smuggle out some police officer that holds information out of the country. I think that's the sort of gist of it anyway. It's getting 6.1 out of 10 on IMDb, which is okay. It's not major. But Mark Wahlberg, he's such a committed guy, an action guy. I like his comedies as well, I've got to be honest. The ones he does with Will Ferrell are great. I think the two of them have great chemistry. I hope they do a lot more films together. Yeah, they are. They're friendly off the screen as well, Stephen. You see it, I've seen Playground Insults on Radio 1. And they're just flying. They've got good report. And sometimes we do forget that he has got that element, and he has got those characteristics about him. He's not just an all-out action hero. But this is a film, it's certainly down my dad's street. He likes these type of films. It's not my type of film because they do become very predictable, these type of movies to me. But the other one as well, Ted, that was the other film that he did. It was amazing in that as well. But I like him as an actor, I do. But this type of genre, I'm not that bothered about it. Yeah, he's got an underrated range, Stephen. He did get obviously a Best Supporting Actor nomination for his work in The Departed. So he can do action. He can do some decent emotive performances, and he can also do comedy. And in the main, I've actually enjoyed these films alongside Peter Berg. Deepwater Horizon, Patriot Day, and a few other ones that I've spoke about last week, but I always forget the other one. There was another one with him. But this one isn't get as good a critical response, but I've certainly, if it pops up on Netflix or something, I'll give it a bash. I don't think I'll go and watch it, although I may
get bored next week, Stephen, and go and watch it. I don't know, but there's a few films I've got my eyes on. Venom, which is meant to be crap. Utter crap. A Star Is Born. I've seen Operation Finale, and that is... it's not great either, but we'll get into that on the Movie Burner blog rundown, because I will be doing a review on that. But that is what it is. It's a beige action film, and what you get with these guys is you usually get very good visuals and action set pieces, so I'm sure it's got that up its sleeve, and you know what you're getting with Mark Wahlberg. He'll deliver a decent enough performance. Lauren Cohan as well, very good actress. John Malkovich in there. Yep. Ronda Rousey, UFC and now WWE performer. I'll probably give it a bash if it pops up on Netflix.
Yep, I think it's one of the ones, if you've got nothing better to do, maybe on a Saturday afternoon, John, it's pop along to cinema and, you know, catch it. But that just wraps up this week's episode of Box Office Chat. We'd just like to thank you once again for joining us, and we will be back again tomorrow with Movie Burner News.
Remember, guys, if you enjoyed that latest episode, then do hit that like button, comment below, and maybe subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. If you want to follow us on social media for all the latest updates from Movie Burner Entertainment, then we can be found on Twitter and Facebook at Movie Burners. You can also listen to us on Google Play and iTunes at the Movie Burner Podcast. And last but not least, if you want to access all the latest written reviews and the occasional article, then that can be found on our website at movieburnerentertainment.org. Until next time, goodbye.